Alright guys, so as you guys can see from the thumbnail of the video, I'm comparing the silver version and the black A7C version. I have it right here. But in the end of this video, I'm actually going to compare it with the A7 III as well. So I have both the A7C and the A7 III, but that's going to be in the end of the video. This video is mainly talking about the A7C silver version versus the A7 III all black version. So comment down below in this video. I'm really curious if you guys like the silver version or the black version more. I'm really curious because it was kind of hard to find a poll anywhere out in the internet. So I'm gonna make this video the poll. Comment down below and yeah, let me know. And if you guys have any questions on the A7 III and the A7C, if I didn't answer it well in the video, make sure to comment down and I'm gonna answer it in a different video. And yeah, I'm gonna put my Instagram. Everything's in the description. Make sure to check it out. And yeah, let's get in the video. I'm going to be comparing the two different color A7Cs for all the filmmakers out there that are really indecisive, just like me. And I'm going to tell you guys which one I prefer in the end of this video. But before I say my opinion, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you guys like the silver one more? Or the all black version more? I'm really curious because there isn't really any polls out there. I don't really know. There's a lot of mix. A lot of the YouTubers have the silver one, but I haven't seen that many YouTubers with the black one. But I'm kind of curious. Do a lot of people like one more than the other, or are they both pretty equal and people like both of them equally? So in this video, I'm going to be comparing, you guys, the two A7Cs, and also I'm going to be comparing one of the A7Cs with my A7 III, what I end up liking more and what I dislike about the A7C and what I like about the A7C. Because if you're coming from the A7 III, going to the A7C, you're going to realize that there's actually a lot of customizable buttons that are removed, and it kind of bothers me a lot. So I'm going to go on that later, but today I'm just going to be comparing the silver version versus the all black version. So from the silver A7C to the black A7C, the writings are in black and here are in white. So I'm sorry if the focus is not working that well, guys. Very sorry for that. But what I don't understand what they did is that they kept the shutter button silver on the black one. On the A7 III, as I'm going to show you guys after and later in this video, the shutter button and the A7 II, all the other A7s, the shutter button is black. So for a lot of people, that might actually irritate them that it's silver and then it's black. So I've heard a lot of other people saying the main reason they got a silver one is because the shutter is silver on the black one. So it only made sense to get an all silver top. But to me, I actually kind of like the look. It kind of separates it and it kind of makes it easier to look at. But at the same time, you don't really, you won't really look at the color when you're taking pictures. But for me, I don't mind the silver on the black one. I still think it looks nice. It kind of matches because the white here is kind of matching the silver in here. So that is the differences on the A7C silver and the A7C black one. So silver, it's all silver. I do admit it's very, very nice. What I like about it is that on Tamron lenses, the ring here is silver. I wish I can show you, but I'm actually currently using my Tamron lens. But I'll add a photo in the video that here it's actually silver, so it kind of matches the Tamron. But many of the Sony native lens are just all black. So I have the kit lens here, for example, and it's just all black. And in my opinion, I actually like it a lot more using regular native Sony glasses on this. I like how it's just all black, sleek, and really low-key and just doesn't stand out too much. But I do like using Tamron lenses with the silver A7C. But I don't only own Tamron lenses, I have other lenses as well. Let's talk about the buttons. So on the A7C, it's very similar to the A7S III, where the recording button's up here. This is one thing I really, really like. As a filmmaker, as a videographer, there's a lot of times I shoot my video holding my camera like this. So it's easy to press it compared to pressing it like this, or compared to the old versions where you have to press here. So this is I find a lot easier, and it feels more like I'm filming something when let's say I'm holding under low and then I I kind of start to film like that. I do start record like this sometimes, but a lot of times I like holding it like this. I like pressing that button. It just feels a lot better. It's the same thing with the A7S III. The recording button is up here. So that's pretty much the main thing of the main difference of the black version and the silver version. And I'm just showing you, in hand how it looks like. Comment down below if you guys want me to try on lenses with it. I don't have too many lenses to try it on because I'm currently using it right now. But yeah, in my opinion, guys, I really like the black version. I like how sleek it is. Comment down below if you guys feel the same. I'm actually very, very curious if you guys like the silver one compared to the black one. Silver one really is it's a different touch, but I find if you're buying, well, for me, I'm buying a small camera because I'm buying this to be slick, be undercover type look. I'm trying to get that undercover type look. And the silver kind of stands out way too much for me. And it's nice. It really reminds me of those old film cameras, and that's why a lot of people like these. And it's just not my type of tea, I would say. I'm not really sure that's not what I should say, but it's not my type of camera. So that is the side by side of the silver version and the black version, just so you guys can see it. These are amazing cameras. They're very, very good, but I like having my cameras matched because I do still use my A7 III, and I am thinking of upgrading, and I just want all my camera gear to all match. One pro I do like about the silver one is that when it's in your bag, it's very easy to spot, very easy to find, especially if you have a black table. I usually have a black mat over here, but if you have a black table, it's very easy to find the A7C silver version. But at the same time, I still like the all black version. I still like being sleek, being undercover, so I would rather the black version. So now let's compare it with the A7 III. I'm gonna switch the camera and show you guys. So let's go. All right, so we currently have here the A7 III and the A7 We have here the A7 III and the A7C right here. And we're gonna point out the obvious ones right now. So the obvious ones is that the A7C has ZV batteries right here. So it's a similar battery as the A7 III. I'm gonna show you guys there. Very simple A7 III battery, the Z batteries. So that's very similar. The same thing. A lot of other YouTubers already heard about it. Another thing is that the side panels are a lot easier, a lot more. It's just a lot cleaner, I would say, the way it flaps out compared to this A7 III. Right here, it kind of just like flaps out, and if it's eventually gonna break, I find these tend to break off for a lot of filmmakers that use their A7 III for long term. So that's one thing that's not good compared to the A7 III to the A7C. Let's talk about the customizable buttons. So as you can see here, is that there are two extra customizable buttons up here. In the A7C, there aren't. So there actually is a recording. And you know how earlier in the other video, I talked about how having a recording button here is actually quite good and I really like it? You can actually customize one of these buttons to film. So if you want to have a film button here and a film button here, you can actually do that. That's actually what I did because I was using this quite a bit for a while, and that when I started using this one, I actually changed this button to film, to record. So I would record like this, I would press this button to start filming. That's one thing I noticed, and that's one thing that this has that this doesn't. Customizable buttons on top. So that's one thing that's very cool. It has a joystick. This one I don't really use it as much. Might not be a deal breaker for a lot of people. This one doesn't have a joystick. And honestly, the touch functionality on this camera is a lot better for autofocus. So this is one feature that this camera has that's very, very good compared to this one. This doesn't really have the touch to focus. I would usually use this to focus. So I don't really need this on this camera because the touch to autofocus is so good that I just touch the screen. So, so yeah, as you guys may know, this is a articulating screen, and this is a flip out screen. So that is just the obvious that a lot of YouTubers talk about. Now let's talk about things that I've noticed. So also the front shutter, the front scroll. There is a front scroll in here in the A7 III, and there aren't in the A7C. I'm actually quite surprised. I don't know why they couldn't put one there, because that's actually quite of a big deal breaker for me. I really would like to have a scroll wheel in the front. So it really limits us because we only have this, the front one, and a scroll wheel. So for me, I adjust a lot my shutter, my aperture, and my ISO. So now for me, when I have to adjust, for example, if I go camera mode, if I want to adjust my aperture, I would go here, and then my shutter would go here. And then now when I want to adjust my ISO, I have to do one extra step. I have to press the ISO button and then adjust the ISO. Compared to the A7 III, if I would open it right now, make sure I go on manual mode. So the front would be the aperture, the back side would be the shutter, and then the scroll wheel would be the ISO. So it's a lot quicker, especially if you're a photographer that really quickly needs to adjust your settings. This is so much better than the A7C. As a photographer wise, the same thing I said in my past video, the A7 III is just so much better handling wise, customizable wise. If you're a photographer, go for the A7 III, even A7 II or A7R2, they're just as good. But you're getting the A7C because you want those extra video features, those unlimited recording limits, touch to focus, and the catalyst browse. And just the portability, using it on gimbals, it's just a pleasure to work with. And yeah, that's really the main thing. Me, I'm more of a videographer. I like to bring these two. I used to have two A7 IIIs for my event photography and video work, but now I actually have one A7 III and one A7C. I might sell this soon for A7S III, but I don't really need it. I actually like this. I usually use one. I've been using the A7 III for a lot of freelancing work, but this has been very helpful as a B camera. But a lot of times I say B camera, but I use this actually as my A camera, and I have this as my backup for a lot of regular shoots. But it really depends. When I do wedding videos and photos, I really use this a lot more. But when I go for a client and they want like IG, Instagram Reels type videos, I would use this a lot more. I just really like the touch to autofocus. So that's one thing I really enjoyed with the A7C. So now another thing that I've noticed is that the A7 III only has two customizable functions on the wheel over here. This one actually has three, and this is very good. What I notice for shooting IGTV, a lot of times I actually have, so most of the times my first reel, for my first option number over here is 1080p 24, not 4K, because a lot of times I would shoot this way. I would shoot this way for Instagram, so vertical, and I don't need 4K if I'm already shooting this way. If I'm gonna shoot this way, I'm gonna put 4K just in case I want to crop it to the IGTV format. But a lot of times I shoot like this when I'm using this camera. So I have the first option as 1080p 24 FPS, and then the second one I have 1080p 60 FPS, and the third option I have 1080p 120 FPS. So that's one thing I end up using a lot. And for this one, I mostly usually have 4K 24 FPS and then 1080p 120 FPS. But what I realized is that for a lot of events, slow motion is king. I usually use 1080p 60 FPS or 1080p 120 FPS most of the times. And yes, 4K is very good. I get those for the regular shots, I would say the main shots, but I usually plan the shots in my head. If I want a more cinematic video, I use 120 FPS and 60 FPS a lot of the time, most of the times. So those are the big things. A lot of these things like this wheel and this wheel I use quite a bit. I usually, when I'm filming, I usually lower it to like -2 or -3. Most of the times I keep it around -1. Just for my grading, I like to, it's easier to grade when it's a bit darker. It might be, for me, that's what I do. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. That is my verdict. Am I gonna get the A7S III, sorry. Honestly, guys, maybe if I end up traveling, but right now as a freelancer, having these two combos is very, it's just more than enough. The A7S III, I don't really need the grading options, but eventually I might sell these two and go for the A7 III, but I'll save that for another conversation. Today was just comparing the A7 III and the A7C, just so you guys can see what you guys want to get. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna keep this right there like that. And yeah, it's kind of a long video. Alright, guys, so if you made it in the end of the video, I'm just gonna say thanks for watching. Like again, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think about the comparison. It might be kind of rough. I don't know if it was the best, but really it's just to show you guys and help people decide which camera to buy just by comparing them side by side, because for me it was very hard to see them. I had to really look at pictures online. But for me, in my personal opinion, I like the triple black, all black version a lot more. And for the A7 III, customizable wise, it's so much better than this one. But it really, it's so similar but still different at the same time. But I pretty much said everything in the videos already. If you're a photographer, go for the A7 III. If you're more video oriented, go for the A7C. But one thing that this has that this doesn't have is the dual card slots, and it is very important. If you're doing big gigs, you do need that 2 extra card slots. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and comment down below if you have any questions. I'm going to answer them in another video. Peace.